Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're getting into one of the great ancient myths, a story that tries to answer a huge mystery about our world, and, believe it or not, the whole explanation is hidden inside a handful of seeds.
Really think about it. Every single year, the world just explodes with life in the spring, it thrives all summer, and then it fades in the fall and goes completely dormant, almost like it's died in the winter. Now, for the ancient Greeks, this wasn't just, biology. This was an epic drama playing out, and they needed a story to wrap their heads around it.
And the answer they came up with? It's the myth of Persephone. It's a story about a kidnapping, about grief, and about one fateful bargain. And the key to the whole thing, the reason our world changes, comes down to what's in the palm of her hand. All right, let's get into it.
So to really get why things changed, you first have to picture what the world was like before. Just imagine a planet with no winter at all. A world that was just stuck in this state of perpetual sunshine and growth and harvest.
And right at the heart of this perfect world was Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, who was the goddess of the harvest. The word radiant is just perfect here. It doesn't just describe her, it describes the entire world, a place that was literally shining, bright, with no concept of cold or shadow.
But this perfect, static, beautiful world, it was about to be completely shattered. The big conflict in this story doesn't creep in, it erupts, tearing a hole not just in the ground, but in the very reality of the world.
And what the myth really hammers home is just how sudden this was. 1 minute Persephone is just picking flowers in a sunny field, and the next, the ground literally splits open, and this dark figure emerges. And let's be totally clear about what this was. It was an abduction, a kidnapping. This was not an invitation. This was an act of force by Hades, the ruler of the Underworld, and it was the first crack in the world's perfect surface. And here's his motive, right out of the gate. As he's taking her, he says this. See, he doesn't just want a prisoner, he wants a partner. He's trying to make this goddess of life and light the queen of his kingdom of the dead. So just like that, the entire scene flips. We go from those sunlit fields way down into this kingdom of shadows and deep silence. This is Persephone's new home, and she did not choose it. So what's life like for her down there? Well, it's defined by a few key things. First, this profound silence, like a quiet so deep and intense it's a character in itself. And second, Hades' strategy. It isn't just about force anymore. He treats her with this formal seriousness, this solemnity, and he's all about persuasion. He's actively trying to convince her, to win her over to his side. And here's that persuasion right here. He's making his pitch. He's offering her a share of his power, of his entire kingdom. He wants her to stop seeing it as a prison and start seeing it as a throne. Okay, so this brings us to the absolute turning point of the whole story. It all comes down to a single piece of fruit and a single choice that is going to decide the fate of, everything.
See, there's this ancient unbreakable law. If you eat the food of the underworld, you are bound to it forever. And so far, Persephone has refused everything. But she's getting hungry. So Hades, seeing his chance, offers her something simple. A single, gleaming pomegranate.
6. That's it. Not the whole thing, not even half, just 6 tiny little seeds. And in a moment, maybe it was hunger, maybe temptation, maybe she was tricked, she eats them. A tiny, tiny act that will have the biggest consequences imaginable. And that one choice was fateful. That's the perfect word for it. Fateful means it's going to have serious, permanent consequences. By eating those 6 seeds, Persephone basically signed a contract in pomegranate juice. She had tasted the food of the dead, and now there was truly no going back.
Now, while this is all going on down below, all hell is breaking loose up on the surface. Persephone's mother, Demeter, is just swallowed by grief, this deep, powerful sorrow. And because she's the goddess of the harvest, her personal pain becomes a global crisis. The earth just stops. It becomes barren. Nothing will grow.
And in her despair, Demeter makes this vow. This is the moment the connection is forged. She declares that her daughter's absence will now be mirrored by an absence of life on earth.
She literally invents winter out of a broken heart.
A crisis this big, the whole world is dying, forces everyone's hand. The other gods have to step in, and a deal gets hammered out. It's a compromise. It doesn't fix the world and put it back the way it was, but instead, it organizes all that brokenness into a cycle, something predictable.
So the final deal is this. Persephone has to live a double life. For part of the year, she's in the world above, and when she's there, her presence brings joy, renewal, flowers, the harvest. But for 6 months, 1 month for every seed she ate, she must go back to the world below. And her absence up here creates a time of grief, a barren earth, a time of rest.
And that becomes the engine that drives our seasons. It's a really simple, 4-step cycle, and it's all powered by emotion. Step 1. Persephone goes down to the underworld. Step 2. Her mom, Demeter, gets sad, and that grief creates winter. Step 3. Persephone comes back up to the surface. And Step 4. Demeter's joy creates spring. It's such a powerful, poetic explanation for why our world is constantly changing.
So, you see, the myth of Persephone isn't really just about summer and winter. It's a story about cycles, about how life needs both presence and absence, joy and grief. It kind of suggests that these dormant, quiet periods are actually essential for new growth to happen. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to think about, right? What endings in our own lives, whether they're big or small, are maybe just making space for a new kind of spring?